It's been a long and exhausting 2025, y'all. Oh my god. For their country and for the Democratic Party, which is still scrambling.
Yeah, I mean, the Supreme Court is dismantling rights at record speed. Mass deportations are here. Government agencies are being gutted. And Democrats, they're offering concern. Fundraising emails? Maybe a strongly worded letter.
But this crisis didn't start in 2025. It's the result of years of drift, compromise, and the refusal to reckon with what people actually need. And here in San Francisco, the local Democratic Party isn't doing much better. We have a city full of registered Democrats, and yet endless infighting and no unified vision for the future.
This is Between Fog and Fury, a podcast about San Francisco politics from an Asian American perspective.
Oh my god. Crazy times. How's it going? We're recording this on the Sunday after July 4th. I don't know. How did y'all celebrate the 4th?
I ordered in some barbecue with friends. Does that count?
Yes. You had barbecue. I love barbecue.
Yeah. I think for me it was like partial pride recovery and just recharge. You know, like we've been through a lot, especially with the passage of Trump's big, beautiful bill.
Bullshit bill.
Mm-hmm.
I had dim sum. And then I had a lovely dinner with friends. So very chill. And ice cream. I had ice cream.
Oh, nice. I slept in.
Yeah.
I was really tired, but it felt weird to try to celebrate July 4th on a day about, the establishment of our country when our rights and freedoms are getting taken away.
Oh my god. Wait, we should introduce ourselves. I'm Michael Nguyen. I am also a drag queen named Juicy Lou. I'm trying to be the Gagin Oprah, so I'm in the big chair this time. I will rotate chairs, I'm sure, eventually. And Natalie and Jeremy, why don't you introduce yourselves?
Hey everyone, my name is Jeremy Lee. I'm a proud third-generation San Franciscan and a Chinatown advocate.
And I'm Natalie G., born and raised in San Francisco, and your favorite policy nerd.
So yeah, let's talk about it. The Democratic Party, the party with no plan. Is there no plan right now? What's happening?
They kind of have a plan, and their plan has been really just helping corporations and the elite, and not so much working class people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think the Democratic Party is built on working class folks, but as of late, it's seemingly more beholden to corporate interests. Like, who's going to fund the next big presidential campaign? Who's going to fund the swing Senate races? And we need to stop being beholden to these moneyed forces and really just get back to basics. How are you going to provide for the average voter? How are you going to help put food on the table, keep a roof over people's heads, make sure people are healthy?
How do we invest in our people? Because I don't think that's what's really happening on the country as a whole right now too, but also in the Democratic Party. We're not investing in people. We're investing in bigger interests, corporations. We're not helping people survive affordability. We're not helping people keep them in their homes. We're not even keeping them protected from ICE and...
Yeah, I mean, is there anything that the party can do? I mean, I guess I'll be playing the role of devil's advocate because I am also a member of the Democratic Party, an elected member here in San Francisco on the DCCC. And I can tell you that I went to the California Democratic Party convention, and it was weird in Anaheim. It was very kind of lackluster energy. Governor Newsom wasn't even there, didn't show up. Kamala Harris gave a video message, which was fine, I guess, but it wasn't super. The most inspiring speech was Cory Booker, kind of like rallying, and he had just given a long ass diatribe, 25 hours on the Senate floor. Mm-hmm. So we were all cheerleaders for him. Mm-hmm. What I love about politics is about the energy, the movement, people, message, right? And so is there any real national leadership right now in the Democratic Party? What's the struggle? Why are we on the struggle bus? I don't know.
Well, they seem to be really disconnected with the people because, look what's happening in New York right now. Zohran Mamdani won the Democratic primary, which was amazing, right? He beat Andrew Cuomo, but the Democratic Party is not, backing him.
Yeah,
our Democratic leaders on the national level are not backing him right now, even though he won the vote for the Democratic primary.
He is New York City's Democratic nominee.
Yes.
But he doesn't have the support of Schumer or Gillibrand.
Yeah. or Jeffries.
Yeah, Hakeem Jeffries. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah, he didn't Pelosi, I think.
We don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Is it just bad leadership or just like a deeper identity crisis? What's
It
going on?
might be a deeper identity crisis.
Yeah, I think.
We don't know who we are.
Yeah. I think Trump getting elected in 2024 really shifted the paradigm. It's a different world now, and the Democratic Party, which operated in a very kind of old school money
Establishment policy.
establishment kind of way, and now we're in this new world where attention is king. Everyone gets their information from social media, and really money can't buy attention anymore. Not through like mailers and TV ads. People need to kind of figure out a way to be relevant.
Yeah, I think that's what's really so terrifying about the mayoral race in New York for the establishment Democrats. They're panicking is because let's go into that race just for a little let's get technical. Like what did he had zero name ID like 6 months ago or something.
I mean, he was like the assembly person.
But he didn't really like in the mayor. He's running and there's a race happening. He went from kind of zero to suddenly he's a meme legend, and like you should see all the videos. Like I see all the subway takes. I see man on the street. He came out with the man on the street video. So all the time, like what is that? Is that why he won? And he was up against all this establishment money behind a terrible candidate, Cuomo, who had to resign from the governor
for sexual harassment,
and didn't even live in New York City.
And he stole from the MTA.
So embezzling and stuff. And so so technically, what happened? And give our listeners kind of like a rundown. Like, what's your analysis of like why did Zoran win?
I think he ran on just very simple messaging, meeting people's basic needs. Right, free public transit.
Free buses,
childcare,
affordable groceries. Our groceries
freeze
right
the
now,
rent. That was the other one.
Yeah,
it was very easy messaging.
Very simple. Like these are all basic needs that people have to have in order to survive, especially in a big city that's like as expensive as New York. And these are things that are relevant to a lot of people who live there. And in SF too, honestly.
I think Zoran really made a really strong effort to meet people where they are, regardless of their political backing, regardless of really anything. He was laser focused on his messaging, and he put out his messaging in a way that didn't alienate people. Oftentimes, Democrats, they can alienate people by their messaging, by their tone, like, you're a bad person because you voted for Trump. Whereas Zoran didn't, just gave that messaging. Hey, if you want free childcare, if you want free buses, if you want your rent frozen, if you want a grocery store in your neighborhood that's a food desert, vote for me. So it was easy for people who voted for Trump to come on. And he, very clearly built a broad coalition.
I also want to kind of pay attention to something you brought up earlier, Jeremy, about the attention economy. And our politics is different now. You can't just throw millions into TV ads or mailers or, just to communicate, to reach voters. They call it voter outreach or reaching voters. I think he literally was going into every neighborhood. He was everywhere. It seemed like he was, and then he was on your screen all the time. It was native. He was a digital native versus Cuomo's the complete opposite. Playing the old strategy of the Democratic Party, which is TV mail. Let's raise a lot of money. Because that's what you do, right? You raise a lot of money, and then you spend a lot of money towards the end, and you don't really do much field stuff. And I don't know. Is that correct, you think?
I think it's a mix of everything. He had a really good ground game, a lot of volunteers.
Army, thousands. 50,000.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It's a lot. His social media game, super on point. Just being relatable to people. And with our current system of social media, people have short attention spans. So he really hooks on and grabs people where they're at, meeting people where they're at. And also, I just want to mention his design element is so good. It's just different design elements in New York, with the different stores and everything, the fonts, and really just bringing the authenticity to it. It wasn't as generic as your red, white, and blue campaign sign.
Yeah, I want to echo what Natalie said about just authenticity. I think in today's world, being in front of voters is actually kind of easy now. You just got to put out a video, be in something that people will consume and watch. And when they see you, when they feel like they know you, you build that connection with them.
Mm-hmm. You build trust.
Yeah, exactly. It's how people get to know you as a candidate. Looking at a mailer in your mailbox or like watching a TV commercial, it can't really tell you a whole lot about this individual, their values, their personality, how they'll govern. With social media, you can showcase your personality. You can say like, hey, I'm just like you. I'm an everyday person who loves this city and wants to shift things in a way that benefits you, the voters, not moneyed interests.
Speaking on the love part, I think with Zoran, you can really see that he has love for his city, and he's just passionate about like working class people in the city. And it's, we haven't really seen that in politicians as of late, as of like the last like decade or two. We haven't seen that authenticity, and he really does bring that.
Yeah, and I think what's really special is that he is unabashedly standing in his values, right? There are old videos of him like about Palestine, free Palestine, and screaming at people about Gaza, and and he's a Muslim, he's a Muslim in New York City, democratic socialist in New York, and he never shied away from it.
Yeah,
he never was like, oh, like the typical political thing to do would be like, kind of create like a mask or a veneer of I'm approachable to everybody and you're safe with me, and he was very like just so real that like New Yorkers like can have this. New Yorkers have bullshit meters, right? They can tell when somebody's being real and somebody's being fake. And Cuomo was the opposite. He was like so fake, like so fake. And so I think that really resonated. And then even when Zoran was like attacking all the misinformation, because misinformation happens in campaigns, right? He would actually address it in a campaign video, right?
Very much a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, and so how do we take that national, kind of that's what's happening nationally, and bring it locally here to San Francisco? Like, what can our listeners, if our listeners are in San Francisco, what can they be doing to sort of get involved or be inspired by Zoran, or are there's campaigns happening in 26? Yes, but even this year. But I mean, how would you advise our listeners?
I would say get plugged in, right? I think, there's opportunities at different levels. There's Board of Supervisors, which is the big county supervisorial race. There's Board of Education. There's City College Board. Are there other positions that I may not be listing out for elected positions? There's basically a big election happening in San Francisco next year. And then there's also midterms. So there's a lot of election happening. Get plugged in. If you want to run for something, run for something.
Mm-hmm. And their governor's race. The governor's race.
There's the governor's race, yeah.
It's a big one.
Kamala may jump for her
Will she? I don't know. I love Kamala, and I don't know if this is the race for her, but anyway.
Yeah. I think for me, it's telling people to really build your community.
Yes.
When it comes to politics, that means stepping away from the computer.
Mm-hmm.
Get offline. I want to really emphasize this. Get offline. You shouldn't be just consuming news. You shouldn't just be getting all of your information.
You shouldn't just doom scroll for like 5 hours? Doom scrolling? Is that not what it's supposed to be?
Let's not do the doom scrolling. Let's get away from the Reddit shit posting. Mm-hmm. Get away from Twitter, which is a total cesspool where really nothing good happens. And just like be with real live people. Be with people who are like-minded, be with people who are not like-minded, be with people who look, sound, and act differently than you. Because, I think too often we're in our silos. Too often we just know the people around us who look, talk, act, and think like us. Mm-hmm. But, San Francisco is a beautifully diverse city. Where we have Latina aunties, making pupusas and tacos, so which are amazing. Mm-hmm. We have seniors in Chinatown. We have really long-time residents in the Bayview. Like, we need to talk with these people, understand their stories, understand really the type of San Francisco that they live through every day.
Yeah, I think also, on top of having pupusas, kind of thinking about getting more involved. Okay, so if you want to get involved, but you're doom scrolling, one person I recommend if you're online is following Heather Cox Richardson. She always has a good analysis. She's like a historian type, national politics. She's if you listen to podcasts, you probably listen to her speak. She has a Substack. If you follow her on social media, she just kind of says what happened today in politics nationally, and it's kind of nice to read it, because reading it's a little bit less emotional versus like hearing some like sensational TV spot or whatever, even videos or other podcasts. I listen to other podcasts. I love Pod Save America, and we should be guest speakers on that for sure. It's something different about reading it and then talking with people about it, and talking in person over coffee, or like let's have dinner, or at a Democratic club. I'm on the Democratic Party charter clubs committee, and so like we're always trying to get people, if you want to get involved in politics, you should actually start with your Democratic clubs, because if you're a queer progressive, maybe join the Harvey Milk Club, or the moderates, join the Alice Democratic Club. It doesn't matter. Join all of them. I mean, you kind of you're surrounded by like-minded people, and you're just there to relate and connect and think through things. Big picture idea. That is kind of what makes our party strong, I think. But also, the barrier to entry for politics generally is just literally showing up. Yeah. Showing up when you start caring about something. So if you care in a campaign, you start showing up and you start handing out flyers, or you go door knocking. So there's lots of ways to get involved, and I think, but the one way that isn't the best way is to sit in your bed and doom scroll for 5 hours and start spiraling, because that doesn't help. I don't know. That's just, I've done it. I do it.
We're all guilty.
We're all guilty of it.
Totally.
But getting offline and touching grass and talking to people.
Yeah. Because I think a lot of these online spaces are filled with a very small number of people who are very loud and very vocal, and frankly quite conservative, quite reactionary. These are people who almost want to see the destruction, want to see the doom.
They want you to feel hopeless.
Yeah, because that's how they get your attention. That's how they suck you in. It's almost kind of like a depression of some kind, where it's just like you're just deep in the hole, and it feels like hopeless to like try and get out. But being with live people who have different experiences than you, people who can open your eyes, show you something different.
I would say, start even more locally, because like not everyone wants to join a Democratic club, but like maybe you might have a neighborhood association or a neighborhood meeting that happens once a month or every 2 months, right? Start joining those and see what's happening in your neighborhood. Or reach out to other organizations like in San Francisco who might be doing a lot of work in the community, whether it's around food security, like volunteering for giving food to homeless folks through like SF City Eats is like one thing, right? Very low barrier. Like maybe once a month go out and do a homeless feed, or volunteer for like a group in Chinatown who's helping out Chinatown seniors, and also addressing like food insecurity or other things, or even helping seniors fill out their forms if they need assistance in that.
Yeah, I think, and so I think what we're saying is like what happens locally, you can have so much more impact locally than thinking big picture, federal policies and state policies. Is there a local policy? You mentioned food security, but is there another? Or do you want to talk more about food security? But because I think once people are fed, they won't. Like public safety is increased, right? And once people are fed, then they can go to school and they can study and learn and have better outcomes. But I mean, or are there other local policies that you think can shape the Democratic Party nationwide? Because that's actually what happens. San Francisco is such a beacon for federal policy. Sometimes as San Francisco goes, so goes the nation, right? And so, is there something that we could be working on locally here that can help shape our Democratic Party politics?
I think making a concerted effort to address local problems. If we can address some of the really pressing issues here in San Francisco, then those policies can transform and get spread to other parts of the country. I remember speaking with Jane Kim, who's now the California director of the Working Families Party. And she was saying that all across the country, these people look to San Francisco about what's possible. If we can do it here, then they can do it in Denver. They can do it in Atlanta. They can do it in Tacoma. Anywhere. Like, what we do here is exportable to other localities. And so if we can address things like chronic homelessness, if we can address things like you said, food insecurity, housing insecurity, we can transform the nation.
I think it's definitely addressing people's basic needs. If you want people to participate more in the Democratic Party or in just local politics, making sure food, shelter, housing, water, people's basic needs and safety are taken care of, then people will feel more comfortable participating in different things. And just bringing it back to like the New York race, like Zoran basically addressed a lot of the basic necessities that people need in his campaign, which is why it made it so relevant for people to like support him.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I'm reminded of a story when I went door knocking for Kamala back in 2024, and it was like the weekend before the election, which was really fun. I was in Phoenix, and I spoke with a Vietnam veteran who, you know, had like basically an amputee, and it was just, I was, you know, in a complex door knocking, right, and I wasn't door knocking him, but he, you know, his neighbor, and he was like, oh, she's gone, and the kids are, you know, home, but they won't answer the door, and she works at a, you know, Vegas hotel or something, you know, as a waitress. And what are you doing? You know, he just asked me, and I was like, oh, I'm here with Worker Power, you know, with Seed the Vote, and I'm trying to talk about the campaign for, you know, Kamala and all. He's like, he was a disillusioned voter, and he was like, oh, you know, none of them gonna care, and I was a Vietnam veteran. They didn't take care of me. But I talked. And I was trying to just kind of engage with him because I was there, and he was like, you know, good luck to you. I hope you keep that hope alive. Basically, that's what he said to me. And here I am, a son of Vietnamese refugees, talking to a Vietnam vet, and he had what a sacrifice. And I said, well, thank you. I said, thank you for your service. And he's like, no. You have to say thank you for your sacrifice to any Vietnam veteran or veteran of any person who's served in our military forces. And what's terrifying to me right now is, you know, we're basically at the precipice of World War III. And there's a lot of things happening in the world. But then, you know, our message is to say, oh, keep things local. What can we do? You know, like, can we do anything? Like, will it help us? You know, or I don't know. I'm curious. And what I think the solution is that by activating with people who are locally involved in politics, by talking about the issues that really matter to us, and also I'm an anti-war person, right? And being with like-minded people who are anti-war, and that helps. I feel like it helps more than it helps sitting in my bed doom scrolling about the end of days. You know, I don't know. Is that right?
Yeah, I think right now politics it's so defeating. It's so easy to just read the headlines and feel like everything is on fire, the sky is falling, I'm just gonna lay in bed. And I think through connecting with people, through getting involved, you nurture that sense of hope. You nurture that sense of, hey, I can actually do something, and I can feel good about it, and I can see the direct impacts of my work and how it affects the people around me. You know, we want to have hope. Because once the other side eliminates our sense of hope, we're done. Mm-hmm. And so right now, giving people a reason to fight, giving people a reason to be, hey, I know everything looks bad, but we can change it. We have not lost, in any sense, our capacity to create monumental change in this country.
I think, you know, for me, a while back, I was helping make phone calls to stop the cuts to Medicaid, and it was also like with other people throughout California. We were phone banking residents who live in some of the districts in SoCal so that they can call their representative and let them know, don't cut the Medicaid. So I think, you know, even on the local level, there are things happening that you can plug in to the more national level things. For example, like the No Kings March on June 14th, I think, last month, where a lot of people showed up. I think in San Francisco there was like maybe 70 to 100K. It was a lot. It was packed. Like Dolores
Yeah,
Park.
you spoke.
I did speak there. It was packed. It was a lot of people just marching through, and it wasn't just San Francisco. It was across like, was it 2,000 plus cities across the United
Something
States?
like 5 million Americans mobilized that day.
Or more. But yeah, just like even coming out like that and just showing that we have more people power, I think that's really important.
Yeah, I mean, I think I will go back to Kamala, but like she said, when you have to mobilize, you have to organize, you have to educate and advocate, and do that over and over and over again, and that's what politics is about. I get this question all the time. Juicy, what can I do? What can I do? And it's like, well, you can join a mobilization, join a protest, or you can organize people. Just go. I organize through karaoke. It doesn't have to be boring, right?
Yeah.
You can go have a karaoke night and bring people together, and then talk about, while you're waiting for karaoke, you have a captive audience, and talk about the issues that you care about. So, like, did you know that there's this, Medicaid phone banking happening? Did you know that there's a protest march happening in a couple weeks? There's ways to share that information. You can educate online. I think that's what part of this podcast is about too. It's like educating, trying to uplift the fog, right?
Yep.
So that we can get to the fury. But you got to educate people and bring people into the fight, because we need everybody in this fight.
The activities you partake in don't have to be explicitly political. You, as an individual, right now, can go to the mission and get trained on tax prep over like a couple weekends, and then you can provide free tax prep assistance for low-income people, or for really anyone who needs help preparing their taxes. It is something like really simple, but it's so desperately needed, because hey, in this country we do not provide financial literacy. We do not educate people on anything, but prepping your taxes, like, it's something it's so vital. And so many people, especially non-native English speakers, like, they struggle with a lot, and it's so intimidating. And you as an individual can help someone in your community, help them lift the fog and understand this very almost like esoteric process that is quite essential for living in this country.
Yeah, I wish it would just like automate that shit. I mean, I'm tired of doing my tax. They could just push a button and file your taxes.
Let's save the tax prep industry debate for another episode.
We're against Intuit right now, so sorry I'm into it. No. Yeah. I think it's good time to wrap up. But let's just think about Democratic Party politics generally, how we can think of it, nationally, at the state level, and locally. But I think the Democratic Party, as one of your elected Democratic Party members, it's really up to us to decide. Like, it's actually up to the community organizers and the activists to decide where the Democratic Party goes.
Yes.
It's not the other way around. It's not a top-down thing. It's actually kind of a bottom-up grassroots first. And if that's what was so exciting about the Zoran race in New York City. It felt very much a groundswell of support from the grassroots energy, and I think it's up to all of us. Like, no one's coming to save us. No one else is. Like, if we don't do it, like, I don't know if there's anyone else coming.
Yeah. No.
Right.
And we always have to save ourselves. We have to rely on us to stand up for like bad policies or fascist governments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hey, I was politically raised in Chinatown. We have stood as a community for nearly 200 years, and it wasn't because City Hall, out of their grace and kindness, gave us resources. It's because we fought to the tooth and nail for every last cent for our community, because we knew that's what we deserved. As a party, as a nation, we need to do the same. We need to recognize, hey, we deserve better, we deserve more, and what we're currently getting is not enough. Mm-hmm. So we need to elect people, get more people in power that are willing to fight the system, to fight the establishment, to fight moneyed interests, and deliver for regular, everyday people.
Yeah, and so in our next episode, let's preview for a second.
Yeah.
Next episode, we're going to talk more about the 2026 race, what's going on. We mentioned half the board of supervisors are up for election in San Francisco. We mentioned that there's a governor's race. I met with Katie Porter. She's awesome.
Oh, love her.
I've seen a whole bunch of candidates in the California Democratic Convention. So we'll talk about that race.
Yeah.
That'll be a good one to talk about. And I know what else should we talk about? I think because there's also all the things. The formations are changing. There's a new moderate group in San Francisco called Blueprint. Maybe I talk about
Just
that.
like rebranding.
Yeah,
We
same
should talk
faces.
about
The
building
abundance
coalitions.
movement, with various coalitions that are around. Yeah, I think it'd
There
be
are a lot of things to talk about.
A lot of things we can talk about, and hey, we'd love to hear from our listeners.
What you want to hear.
What do you want to hear? What do you want to hear us talk about? We've spent a lot of time in politics between the three of us.
I mean, decades at this point.
Yeah.
Like all of it. Maybe 50, 100
Maybe
years.
like more than 50 years of all of us combined.
Yeah.
And we want to be in service of you, our listeners, to really help lift the fog.
I mean, should we talk about the shuffle with Pelosi? Will she, won't she?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we should, yeah.
That shit.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about in SF. We're happy to help lift the fog for you all so that this can be more accessible for folks.
Yeah, we'll be watching too. We'll be organizing, we'll be advocating and mobilizing, and we'll be back at the next episode to see that fog and lift it, and so we can bring more fury. So again, my name is Michael Wynn. Find me online, Instagram, Michael Wynn for number 4SF. If you want to chat me up on my social.
Yeah, my name's Jeremy Lee. My handle is Jeremy Lee SF.
And Natalie G, and my handle is It's Natalie G.
And this is Between the Fog and the Fury. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Thanks, everyone.